Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Zulkarnain Ahmed. I'm a GP trainer, partner and a coach. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 different books which I recommend for every GP trainee who comes into general practice. And in this video, I'm going to explain why. And let's just get into the video. The first book which I recommend for everyone is the Oxford Handbook of General Practice. This is quite a good book, and as you know, general practice is quite diverse and you need to know about quite a lot of things, and this is actually one of the things which really attracted me to general practice is the variety. But obviously you need to have the knowledge as well, and Oxford Handbook of General Practice, in my view, gives you that background knowledge. Obviously not everything is there and there are so many other different resources, but this is one of them. So I definitely recommend for you to get it. And even if you've been selected into general practice and you haven't started working yet, this is probably a good book to get and sort of start revising. If you're already in general practice, I've just recently started general practice, the book I would definitely recommend for you is called Symptom Sorter. This is a really good book, and I've got the 5th edition, and it's the book by Keith Hopcroft. I usually find his books are really useful. The good thing about this book is that it talks about various different symptoms. So for example, I've got it in front of me here, constipation on page 18. So it talks about the differential diagnosis, but the good thing about it is it talks about the common differential diagnosis, occasional and rare. And in common, it's got diet and lifestyle, inactivity, irritable bowel syndrome, painful perianal conditions, drugs including opiates, etc. In rare, poor fluid intake, acquired megacolon, diverticulosis, hypothyroidism, rectum, and then rare pressure from the extracolonic pelvic masses, acute bowel obstruction, hypocalcemia, Crohn's disease with stricture, etc. So that's the really good thing about it. And then you can look at whatever symptom your patient got in front of you, and then you can sort of practice those. So this is really good. So I used to have it on my table when I was an ST2 and ST3 as well, actually. And if I'm going to see a patient, but generally speaking, the patient, they usually tell us why they're coming to see us. So I'd have a quick read through that, see I'm not missing anything, because it talks about the red flags and things as well. And then I'd go and see the patient. So yeah, that is another useful book. And the next book which I want to talk about, so obviously if you're new to general practice, we pride ourselves in communication, and for you to get yourself up to speed with the communication, you normally need to read a book. The book I've got here for you is called The Naked Consultation. I've read this book, it is quite useful. I didn't really read this book in my training years. I read the other one, which is called The Inner Consultation, but you generally have to read one specific book. So either that, this one. The reason why I recommend this one now is because it's shorter and it's easy and it gives you kind of idea. So the edition which I've got here is a 2nd edition, is by Liz Moulton. A really good book. I definitely recommend it. And because consultation for us as GPs are as important as a scalpel for a surgeon, so definitely recommend this book for a trainee. Now, the next book which I've got for you is one of my favorite books. The thing which I really struggled with as a GP trainee, and particularly if you're a GP training from abroad, is uncertainty. Because as GPs, we have to deal with the uncertainty, and that can be quite a difficult thing to get yourself trained. And I used to think as a ST2 and ST3, how am I going to make this decision in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, which I've got for this patient, which can have a bearing on the rest of their lives. And that used to keep me awake at night. However, since I read this book, it really helped me. So this book is, I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's serious. Again, this is a book by Tim Crossley. Very good book. It talks about the uncertainty in general practice, where he shares his sort of knowledge and wisdom of seeing patients and different stories. And he also gives us little nuggets of different stories, which I found quite helpful from seeing his patients, and you can relate to that. And that's usually a good thing. Makes it light, it's light-hearted as well. And the last book which I've got for you today is the CSA scenarios for MRCGP. Obviously, the CSA stands for Clinical Skills Assessment, which is the old name of this exam. The name keeps changing. Nonetheless, it's a useful book. So this is a book is by Thomas M. Das. third edition I've got here. I bought this book when I was actually in an ST3 preparing for my exam. I found it really helpful. Obviously not for the cases, but it just gives you the idea for what cases there could be in the examination and how you should think about it and how you should think about data gathering and things. So for example, I've got a case of eczema in here. So it talks about data gathering, red flags, secondary infection. In the examination, it talks about the distribution of it and interpersonal skills. You also have to think about the depression screen if it's an adult, for example. And in the investigation, think about skin patch testing and things like that. So it gives you a kind of round general idea about how to think about these symptoms. So yeah, again, very useful book. I definitely recommend it. So it's called the CSA Scenarios for MRC-GP. I believe it's still available from the MRC-GP bookshop, but you might be able to find it on Amazon as well. So these are the 5 books which I definitely recommend for trainees who are new to general practice. Let me know in the comments below how you found this video, and if you want me to make any more videos or any other particular ideas, do let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye.